And I do hate to start without, Ruth. Do you know what she is? I do not know. I texted her. Do you, so we'll wait to start until you're back. Is that?
I'm gonna, well, should I? It's not, because we can either. Let me mute they can see that you're sitting there.
Volume is on. Okay, good morning, everyone. This is Senate Natural Resources and Energy. It is July 10th. Getting started a little.
January 10th.
What did I say? July?
I like
January. I feel it's balmy right now.
So we had.
It's such a good time. Thank you, everyone. January 10th, we're gonna get started here. We're a little bit late, but that's okay. Today is not gonna be very long. So I want to start with some just introductory stuff. I want us to have an opportunity to hear from each other, just get to know each other a little bit. This is a new crew being together. So I'm the only returning member to this committee from the last session, which I'm excited about. Like I'm thrilled to be here again. So after we do some introductions, we're going to do just a little bit of, I guess what I call norm setting, and just what my expectations are, and then talk a little bit about how I anticipate this, the first at least couple of weeks of the session rolling out, and then sort of the vision for what's going to happen after that. So we're missing one of our senators right now, but we wanted to get started, at least, get rolling here, even if we are a little bit late. So we'll incorporate Senator Hardy as she comes in. So the first thing, well, actually, maybe I'll flip it. I might do some of the norm setting first, because I would love for Senator Hardy to hear introductions. So we're going to start with just some of the expectations, and then we'll go to introductions, so that hopefully she can get up for that. Okay, so just in terms of the process, I do anticipate that we'll start at about 9 a.m. Every day. Just to or just, you know, in general. I'd really like to be starting on time, as much as we can. If that doesn't end up working, like, you know, if everybody's not here, we might actually set the time a little earlier so that we can actually be rolling by 9. I do anticipate that we'll take some breaks, as we go through the day. But feel free to get up and take breaks as you need them, but we'll plan on taking a 10-minute break or so. Once we're, let's say, like an hour and a half in. And then just, you know, in terms of committee process stuff, I was just talking about this with Senator Williams earlier, you know, you know, just as the chair, like I'm gonna be setting the agenda and helping to you know, set our course and direction. I am gonna include Senator Williams as my vice chair in the discussions around that decision-making process. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's going to be my decisions as to where we go. And then just in terms of how we function, like I do really appreciate when people raise their hands to speak, or at least acknowledge, if I can acknowledge you before you speak. I don't think that this is going to be a problem, but in other contexts in my life, I don't love to be interrupted, and I don't like it when other people are interrupted. And so I will defend you if there's interruptions that happen. And then sort of in that same vein, just as a general rule, I am hoping that we can, in general, allow our witnesses to give their presentation, to say their piece, to, you know, give us all the information they wanted to tell us, and that hopefully we can be saving our probing questions or deeper questions for the end. But if, as they're presenting, you have clarifying questions, you're like, I do not know that acronym, or what is that program? You know, like just some, the kind of questions that might be relatively simple to answer, but I prefer that we, you know, if we're going to interrupt with questions, that they be that flavor of question. Any questions yet? No? Okay. Okay. And then, you know, as people are presenting, I think this is obvious, but you gotta say it, is that I certainly want our witnesses to feel respected and heard and listened to, even if we disagree with them, and that goes for all of us, right? And you know, I appreciate that we're going to hear some different perspectives. And, you know, there may be times when you're questioning the accuracy of what somebody is saying. If you have criticisms, I guess you can say what you want, of course, but I would ask that if there is a need for, you know, questioning the accuracy of someone, that you allow me to do that, or if there's a criticism, you allow me to do that. And you know, that doesn't come back on you. And then right, and so, you know, we need to not be, I would prefer that we not be saying anything negative about the people you know, giving us testimony. And really, of course, the same goes for each other. You know, that I of course expect us all to respect each other as people. There's going to be disagreements. Let's disagree with ideas and not make it personal, of course. Okay, I think those are all of the sort of norm setting things that I wanted to talk about. I would love to check in with everybody really quickly about who, well, actually, let's do introductions. No, we don't have a review, but okay, let's do it. Let's jump in. So, as far as introductions go, as we get to know each other, I'd love for you to share, just what is your background? Where are you coming from? Do you have, any, it would be good to know if you have a particular connection to, the topic, to, the jurisdiction that we have. And just anything else you want to share, and then I'll have some other follow-up questions for you. But let's start there about just general, like, who are we? Who are we? All right, and I'm happy to either go first or go last. Would anybody like to go first? Shall I go first? Okay. I've been doing a lot of talking. I like to pass it off again. My day jobs, that I am a high school science and math teacher. I teach physics and engineering and math. Right now it's personal finance at the high school here, and I have been doing that for the last 20 years or so. My degree is in physics. I've lived in Washington. I'm from Chittenden County, but I live in Washington County now, of course. And yeah, I have been just really passionate about the environment for a long time, and love to go hiking, love to just be outdoors, and I just this last summer had a garden for the first time. That was like total revelation. So delightful. Yeah. Now I'm gonna pass it to my vice chair.
Okay,
Okay.
so I'm Senator Terry Williams. I represent Rutland District and I live in Pulteney. In my former adult life, I had 3 children, all raised in Pulteney, went through Vermont State Public Schools, all graduated from Vermont University of Vermont, or one of the Vermont State Universities. Yeah, so I'm a great grandfather. Yeah, got 4 grandchildren and 1 great grandson. And my experience is I retired from the military. I was in the Army 22.5 years active duty with the Vermont National Guard, and I was enlisted for 7 years on top of that. So I got some leadership experience. I was a commissioned officer, retired as a lieutenant colonel, one combat tour in Afghanistan. I've worked on multiple level staffs in the Army. So, one of the things that we did, that I was taught during Command and General Staff College is you form, the staff forms, and then you storm, and then you roll. So we're going to experience that, although we're all a lot more mature than what I was back then. So I was this deputy state game warden for 10 years. One of my passions is fish and wildlife and wildlife biology. And I own timberland, and I own Slade Hill Farms, which was an organic vegetable farm. Got into chickens and eggs and pork and beef. And I got Lyme disease. I had to get rid of my animals so I couldn't take care of them. So, but anyway, I have a passion for nature. I have 200 acres of timberland that I manage for my family, and I'm looking forward. This is be my 3rd session in the Senate, so looking forward to it.
Great. Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah. You go around.
Go ahead. Scott Becker from St. Johnsbury, and born there. And as I tell people, I was the son of a career naval officer and was in the Navy myself. So I've been a resident of St. Johnsbury my entire life. But the first 30 years I traveled a lot and been to every state, lived in many, graduated out of state, went to the University of Washington. And then returned to St. Johnsbury after my Navy time. I have worked at St. Johnsbury Academy in my 25th year. actually started teaching math there, and I moved over to social studies since then, but, been a coach, football, baseball, lived in a dorm there, for quite a while, years. I have six grown children. 4 out of school and still working in the state of Vermont, teachers, engineer, banker. And my 2 youngest, one is at, he's his 3rd year at UVM, and another is at Vermont State University, Linden. And my wife and I were 20-year bookstore owners in St. Johnsbury. We operate the bookstore there. We live in St. Johnsbury, and I'm kind of passionate about alternative energy. 18 years ago, when I constructed my house, we put in geothermal energy as a heating source, and it's been fantastic. So I've always been very interested in alternative energy, and I was in the House for 10 years and represented only St. Johnsbury for almost all of that time. So my perspective on land use and whatnot is more St. Johnsbury specific, but a little more. I hate to use the word urban in Vermont, but not as rural as the rest of Vermont, maybe. As I campaigned, obviously a much larger district with some very rural communities, I started to understand, or at least appreciate that there are some very different perspectives about land use and natural resources. So I'm interested to learn more about that so I can better represent and understand my communities. And I'm excited to be here. This was my first choice in the morning. My choice was anything but judiciary, so I made it. So I'm excited to be here.
So, I've lived in Manchester my whole life, except for college and law school. And I was elected to the legislature when I was 25. I spent 4 years in the House. I went to law school and came back and spent 2 years in the Senate. Meantime, I got married and we got a child, and that's that. We live in Southern Vermont. That doesn't work. So, 36 years later, I came back to the House, started on the Natural Resources Committee in the House when Henry Karst was chair. I don't know if that name means. Henry Karst was one of the architects of the Curtinsburg election, and I wasn't smart enough at the time to recognize that I was in the presence of election, but I've gotten smarter since, a little bit smarter since I understand it now. So I've been back and served the last 4 years on the Natural Resources Committee. It's had different things, but Natural Resources Committee in the House, and deeply involved in what became to be known as the home architecture. Both was the author of that bill, and deeply involved in Western Section 50 bill, and other things. I had a personal life. I have one son. Lives in California now, and he works for an organization called Grow America, which is a nonprofit that does economic development across the country, builds houses and stuff. It's pretty cool. I have served 19 years on the Burn Board, 15 years as chair, 12 years on the Blue Cross Board, 4 years as chair, and I currently chair the board of our land trust, share community land trust. So I think that's kind of it. But that's been I practice. One thing I will say is that as a lawyer, I practice. We did a lot of things, but I have done everything in this arena, from representing municipalities and Act 250 and zoning issues to representing applicants to representing the votes. So I've done the whole, I've been involved in the whole gamut, both Act 250 and planning and zoning, and also a key part of my law practice. So, so I do understand these issues, somewhat. Things changed because I actually, just one more thing, I left law mid-career and ran Hildene for the last 18 years before I came back to the legislature. So I had half my career was practicing law and law came up, and then I started out. Second half was running Hildene, and where we dealt with a lot of these issues. And it's really fundamental to who we are, who we were, and what that place is, and what we turned it into. So anyway, what happened to your first choice to the one? Yeah.
I could add a little bit to my, neglected to mention that I was the mayor of Montpelier,
Yeah.
that feels relevant. And before that, I was on the city council here. So I've facilitated some meetings before. So anyway, thank you. So great. I'm wondering if we can actually do some introductions of who is in the room right now. If you know, I know I'm putting you all sort of unexpectedly on the spot. I'd like to start though with our committee assistant, Jude. Would you mind giving us just like a little introduction?
Sure. I'm Jude Newman. I've been here for 9 years in this committee. Before that, I was an educator in Vermont for 30 years, middle school, high school, and in curriculum development. So to be in retirement.
Yeah, we're so grateful to have you.
I've been there for, what school did you teach at 9 years, right?
Oh, I taught in Montpelier.
Okay.
Awesome. We're gonna go around the room and just do a quick introduction of who's in the room, and because I think we'll probably be, I'm imagining we'll see you yeah, more than just today. We'll just start to around.
Good morning, everybody. Peter Tucker, I work with the Vermont Association of Realtors. And, really appreciate the work that was done in this room last year on the Act 181, the Act 350 bill. And look forward to, kind of continuing that discussion. I think that a lot of the exemptions that we put in place are starting to play out and leads to some more housing. So it's been a good experience. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, I'm Katie Regan. I'm working with Action Circles as a legislative assistant. I'm just here to take notes.
Hey, I'm Jeremy Little. I'm with the Vermont Chamber of.
Sorry, I apologize to interrupt. Would you mind tell us what is Action Circles?
Yeah, we just do some lobbying work.
Okay, great. I apologize. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Jeremy Little. I'm the Outreach and Policy Associate with the Vermont Chamber of Commerce. So I'll be in and out. I'm an advocate for just general business in Vermont.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning, my name is John Brabant. I'm the Regulatory Affairs Director for Vermonters for Clean Environment. Been know all of you. By way of background, I have a dual major in college in geology and hydrogeology. My first work as a professional was in those fields, working to clean up hazardous waste sites. Actually, I actually worked on the W.R. Grace and Woburn site. I was working, I guess I would have been a black hat advocate, and I didn't really appreciate that position, nor did my employer. So I didn't stay there for a few years. And I took a job with we opened an office in Vermont, the firm I worked for, and out of the Burlington area, and we did a lot of petroleum cleanup, hazardous waste site cleanup, consulting, and actual performing the cleanups under the direction of the Agency of Natural Resources. And through that relationship, I wound up getting a job at A&R in 1988 and worked there until the 2013. Worked at A&R for 25 years in the solid waste program. I ran the composting program, I actually put that together. I worked previous to solid waste in the hazardous waste program on sites. And at the tail end, I ran the salvage yard program and actually drafted the legislation that now caused A&R to regulate salvage yards.
Thank you. If we gotta keep going.
Yeah.
If you have like a little bit more to add.
I thought you guys wanted the full back.
No, that's okay. Just
So
wondering how
now,
closely
now I did after working at the VSEA as a field rep, I came to work for Vermonters for Clean Environment, and I'm the Regulatory Affairs Director / lobbyist. So
Great, thank you so much.
okay.
I learned so much.
It's great that you have a rich background.
More than you wanted to know,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, great.
My name is Rebecca Rollins, and I'm a contract lobbyist with the Crossing Group, and we are here for various clients from energy, environment, climate. So,
Thank you.
Thanks. I'm Erin. I am the director for the Senate Democrats. And I started in this role last May and was previously working as a lobbyist for More Strategies last session. And I look forward to supporting the Senate Democrats this session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Gabrielle Molina, and I am a contract lobbyist with Sound Franklin Martin. And we represent Vermont Electric Co-op, Washington Electric Co-op, and as well ISO New England, the regional transmission operator. So, energy utility.
Thank you. And then before you go, Erin, just for the record, can you, what's your last name?
Stetzer.
Great. All right, go ahead.
Ben, Julie Walsh, I run the climate and energy program for the Vermont Public Research Group. Jonathan Wolf with Primer Piper, Eggleston and Kramer, contract lobbyist in the building, with many hats for many clients, but for this community's interest, it would be the Vermont Public Power Supply Authority and the Vermont Electric.
Excellent. Thank you.
I'm from a cotton and the energy and environment reporter for the Peter.
Super, thank you. Thank you, everybody. All right, I have a quick question for members here. Do you prefer, this is for assistance sake, for Jude's sake, do you prefer things in hard copy or electronic?
For me, electronically, but there might be certain documents that I'd want on paper, but for the electronic channel.
That
Yeah, please. Building evacuation, rather than belonging if they are within you. And evacuate the building, designated route for airborne, close to stairwell for exit. Designated areas, check fire and light.
We're supposed to gather over at the pavilion building and I'll take attendance.
Okay, gather it.
In the auditorium.
Okay.
Yeah. Evacuate your.
Smart finger,
That's right, double up. Designated route for airborne, close to stairwell for exit. That's the area for evacuating fire and light.
Did you know this was coming?
Pardon?
Did you know this was coming?
Yeah. Building evacuation, gather the belongings if they are within reach, and evacuate the building using designated route for airborne, close to stairwell for exit. That's here for designated area, with your fire and light safety for. May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? This is a building evacuation. Gather your belongings if they are within reach, and evacuate the building using the designated route for your area and close to stairwell for exit. That's here for designated area, with your fire and light safety for. May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? This is a building evacuation. Gather your belongings if they are within reach, and evacuate the building using the designated route for your area and close to stairwell for exit. That's here for designated area, with your fire and life safety for. May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? This is a building evacuation. Gather your belongings if they are within reach, and evacuate the building using
the designated route for area and close the stairwell for exit. Step in through designated area and check in with your fire and life safety for. May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? This is a building evacuation. Gather your belongings if they are within reach and evacuate the building using the designated route for your area, the closest stairwell for exit. Step in through designated area and check in with your fire and life safety for more. May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? This is a building evacuation. Gather your belongings if they are within reach and evacuate the building using the designated route for your area, the closest stairwell for exit. Step in through designated area and check in with your fire and life safety for. May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? This is a building evacuation. Gather your belongings if they are within reach and evacuate the building using the designated route for your area, the closest stairwell for exit. Step in through designated area and check in with your fire and life safety for. May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? This is a building evacuation. Gather your belongings if they are within reach and evacuate the building using the designated route for your area, the closest stairwell for exit. Step in through designated area and check in with your fire and life safety for. May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? This is a building evacuation. Gather your belongings if they are within reach and evacuate the building using the designated route for your area, the closest stairwell for exit. Step in through designated area and check in with your fire and life safety for. May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? This is a building evacuation. Gather your belongings if they are within reach and evacuate the building using the designated route for your area, the closest stairwell for exit. Step in through designated area and check in with your fire and life safety for more. May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? This is a building evacuation. Gather your belongings if they are within reach and evacuate the building using the designated route for your area, the closest stairwell for exit. Step in through designated area and check in with your fire and life safety for. May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? This is a building evacuation. Gather your belongings if they are within reach and evacuate the building using the designated route for your area, the closest stairwell for exit. Step in through designated area and check in with your fire and life safety for. May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? This is a building evacuation. Gather your belongings if they are within reach and evacuate the building using the designated route for your area, the closest stairwell for exit. Step in through designated area and check in with your fire and life safety for.
please. This is a building evacuation. Gather your belongings if they are within reach and evacuate the building using the designated route for your area, the closest stairwell or exit. Step in for a designated area. Check in with your fire and life safety for May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? This is a building evacuation. Gather your belongings if they are within reach and evacuate the building using the designated route for your area, the closest stairwell or exit. Step in for a designated area and check in with your fire and life safety for May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? This is a building evacuation. Gather your belongings if they are within reach and evacuate the building using the designated route for your area, the closest stairwell or exit. Step in for a designated area and check in with your fire and life safety for May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? This is a building evacuation. Gather your belongings if they are within reach and evacuate the building using the designated route for your area, the closest stairwell or exit.
All right. Yeah,
Yes.
Which means. Oh, fun.
Yeah, I'm expecting Roxy. It's over. I'll turn. All right, so the sound is on, yeah.
Okay, all right, well, this is still the Senate Resources and Energy Committee. And it's still January 10th, and we're just coming back from an evacuation drill. Well, it was not a drill, but apparently the situation's been resolved. We understand it to be that there was some kind of issue with the microwave up in the cafeteria. But glad it's been resolved. Anyway, we don't have that much more to do, so basically all I wanted to talk about at this point was thinking about the future, so what the general layout is going to be for the next couple of weeks. And then I want to give you a heads up about some questions that I'm going to ask you next time. So first thing is as we get started with next week, we're going to be meeting a lot of people. We'll be hearing from staff members about how the departments and agencies that are related to our jurisdiction, how they're structured, what their scope is, how they function, that sort of thing. So we'll be hearing from a lot of people that operate in the space that's relevant to our committee. And then once we're through some, and actually the plan anyway is to ask them to hold off on pitching us anything, just like let us learn about who you are first. And then the second sort of big chunk of the kind of testimony that we're going to do is around education, just making sure that we are on the same page about a variety of topics and sciences. And from there, we'll go into a lot of updates, I guess I should say, hearing reports from different agencies. There's some reports that are coming up, and I guess I'd also say that we want to check in on how things are going with a lot of the bills that we have already passed. And at that point, we'll start taking up bills and having some discussion about all of that. Now, having said that, that's the general structure. We are planning to interrupt things with a joint hearing on the Clean Heat Standard report that is coming out. We're aiming for the 16th, though we do need to talk. Okay, so I guess we're gonna be talking about that, but we'd like to get some testimony on that early. Hello, welcome. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that is just generally the plan, big picture. But also just to say it out loud, if you have folks that you think might be good for to testify on an issue, please let me know, see if we can get them in. And we're joined by Senator Hardy. Hello, welcome. So yeah, so we did some introductions.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that well, I'm sure you could like just watch the testimony that happened if that's okay.
Sure.
But we'd love for you to yeah, just introduce yourself. I know I'm putting you guys on the spot.
Okay.
Do you want a minute?
No, it's okay.
Okay. Yeah, tell us about your background and yeah, just in general, we're just getting to know each other. So
Okay, I'm Senator Ruth Hardy. I represent the Addison district. I live in East Middlebury. I don't know, wait, are people talking about personal, professional? I don't, what?
both, a little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have, this is my 4th term and I don't know. I don't know. That's all I'm gonna say right now.
That's fine. Okay. Well, we're glad you're here. So, all right, that is, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we need to say at this point. I think we're good. So we have floor at 11:30. Oh, I was gonna give you a heads up about questions I'm going to ask you next time. So, one thing, is that I would love for us to go around again next time and talk about what are the values that you bring to the table, particularly as they may be relevant to our work. Yeah. And then we'll, from there, we either then or perhaps the next meeting we might talk about if you have bills that that you're interested in.